series, and we'll see if BLG can break through in this one best of one. They've won 5 games. 5 games against JDG of the 24 they've played. And people say this is a rivalry, but it really has just been a big brother picking on a little brother in a lot of ways, as JDG has always gotten the better of them. Let's talk about this draft a little bit here, as Bin already losing the Jax here early. And we'll see, of course, the follow-up ban of the Jace, the Ahri being taken away from Knight. He is so fantastic on this pick, and they're going to deny it. He's 10-0 on this pick.
Yeah, I think certain picks like this, especially when we do get into regional matchups, right? You know these guys so well. You played against Hizari so many times. It's like, okay, we're just going to take it away this time, expend a ban, and we'll focus on other things. Which means, generally, when you have these teams that go head-to-head so many times, you get these big, powerful meta picks that squeak through the pick ban and get picked up in the first couple of picks. So the Rakan is going to be taken away. That's been a big one here so far for the Swiss stage and for Worlds in general. Let's see what this last ban is going to be on the side of Bilibili Gaming.
I think with blue side here for JDG, if you don't ban the Xayah, Ruler absolutely picks it, but if you ban the Xayah, they get the Kai'Sa, you end up empty-handed. That's part of the power that JDG has with his blue side. Now, Ruler, across multiple regions, has absolutely dominated with the Zeri pick. A little bit less relevant these days. You look back to the LCK finals, the last one he played in our region, he absolutely dominated on the pick. But it looks like an old favorite of his, the Kalista, will be the lock-in here instead.
Yeah, I mean, the Kalista is one that has been focused so many times in the draft, but hasn't really seen that much success so far. And I think if there is going to be an AD carry that can pilot this to a high level, obviously Ruler is on that list, but there's so much available, like you were saying, and to go for the Kalista this early on, you've got the Poppy still up, you've got the Taliyah as well, which has been picked into this many times. There are a lot of ways to handle this first pick Kalista from Ruler, and I'm very curious to see, what is the game plan here going forward after this first pick?
Now, Taliyah obviously very good into Kalista because she's low range and she's constantly dashing and hopping around through your rocks. So the Taliyah priority quite high if you think about the tournament meta, but into the Kalista, a fantastic pick here for Yagao or potentially Shun if they want to flex it. We'll see what they're going to get here alongside it right now. The Rakan was banned away. Alistair, if they want to have a duo with that, very strong. But the Vi-Taliyah duo is going to be what they opt into. So they show that this is not a flex early, but it's extremely strong mid-jungle trio, or mid-jungle duo, excuse me.
Yeah, so the Jarvan going to be picked up here, and immediately the Renata Glass covered as well. So looking to create space on the side of JDG with some of these picks into what we've seen from BLG.
And it can be sometimes a little bit confusing as to why you'd see Renata paired with Kalista, because normally you think about a strong tanky support that's going to get Fates called into a fight for engage. But the synergy between Kalista and the Renata comes down to bailout, because she does such an insane amount of damage, Kalista does. When she starts stacking up that Rend, you have the Rend to trigger the bailout and survive, so it makes an incredibly strong 2v2. And with no support locked in here, I mean, it looks like they're looking for the Blitzcrank right now, you can start to actually limit Elk's champion pool to make sure you get a 2v2 you want to dominate.
Okay, there it is. It's going to be locked in. I mean, the Rakan is gone, so missing an honor, like, well, we got to dig for some other picks in our champion pool. Obviously, both of those players loving the Rakan. But yeah, the Blitzcrank is going to be picked up and definitely going to be pretty nice into just trying to blow up one of those squishy targets on the bottom side of the map. Will be interesting to see what gets played alongside of that Blitzcrank.
Yeah, that is the question, and I think JDG will be looking to limit those options quite heavily, as we do see Syndra is taken away from Knight. Syndra has not had a lot of success, or really any success here in Worlds thus far, but is removed just the same. Works well, obviously, with that Kalista. Gwen going to be taken off the board here, so taking away some of these carries potentially for Bin. And of course, that Cassante still on the table here if they'd like to take it.
Yeah, I mean, just like Asterix was saying on the desk, you maybe want to get one of these carry picks for the side of Bin, but with still a lot available, and if you're taking away Cassante counter picks when the Cassante is available, Bin could easily just play Cassante, right? Like, that is still an option they could go for, as Zorn, one of 369's big picks, is going to also be taken off the board. So yeah, definitely BLG saying, okay, the cards are in your hand right now, you got to make the decision for us.
I mean, Bin has, been known for such a wide champion pool. He likes to play carries, but 369, I think, obviously much more known for his tanks. He's 14-1 on the Ornn. It's one of his best picks, one that you, again, because of the regional rivalry and experience of these two teams, you know you want to take away from this guy. It's not a shocker here. Let's see if that Cassante that's left open with the Gwen ban is going to be what's locked in. They're a little bit suspicious about potentially something weird coming out here, so they're going to save counter pick while also looking for either the Ashe or the Kai'Sa here, both going to be great at following up on this Vi or setting up the Vi with the Ashe arrow, but Elk will ultimately decide on the Kai'Sa.
Yeah, and if you go for this lethality Kai'Sa build, you get a hook, somebody's going to die, right? Like, they're going to try to blow this up. They have incredible follow-up, as you already mentioned, with the Taliyah and the Vi. Now, the Renekton, in terms of, okay, there have been a couple of top lane picks that have been focused. This is something you can blind in this current meta, but I'd be curious to see what Bin has in response to this one.
Yeah, and interestingly, the Azir is also available. Renekton and Azir always paired together as looking for a Kali potentially here, at least teasing it into that Taliyah. Kind of a tough one to pick up. Vex, an old favorite. He's going to lock it in here. And this is so much backline access here. If you can hit the Vex ultimate, you have follow-up with the Cataclysm, you have Kalista for great damage. Seems like it's a no-brainer to pick the Cassante here. In this composition, gives you a great front line. But this Vex is something we just simply have not seen in this tournament and hasn't really been meta for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some of the stats. He didn't play it at all in summer or in playoffs, so will be interesting to see what Knight can get done on this pick, as the final pick for Bin on the side of BLG is going to be Aatrox. So that is the classic Renekton versus Aatrox matchup. Not taking any big chances, trying to go for like a carry pick or anything like that. Just want that solid team fight pick on the Aatrox.
Now, the bottom lane here, I think, is going to be so pivotal in how it plays out in the 2v2 because both Renata and Blitzcrank have some really strong timings. The handshakes can be quite deadly if you hit the Kai'Sa, so Elk's positioning needs to be very crisp. And, Elk is a player who either dominates lane or gets crushed. His inconsistencies have often cost BLG major series. The difference in his goal difference in a win and in a loss is actually over 1,400 gold. So when he's winning hard. When he's losing lane, he does fall quite substantially behind, and they rely on him. With the Kalista Renata, it looks like Ruler and Missing had a plan to dominate that 2v2. We'll see if the Blitzcrank can actually throw a wrench into those gears.
I like where you're going with this one. The gears and the wrench with the Blitzcrank. It's all coming together, Wolf, as the two coaching staff going to come together here on the stage before this matchup we have seen so many times in the LPL and even internationally. We'll have to wait and see. Will BLG finally be able to get some revenge, or will JDG continue the story of the dominant older brother here that you were talking about, Wolf? This is going to be, I hope, yet another banger that we have set up for this second half of today.
I think no doubt it will be another regional rivalry. We had Gen.G versus T1. This is the LPL variant. These teams always going head-to-head in critical matchups. The winner will, of course, take that 2-0 advantage. We one series away from moving out of Swiss. So this is massive. The competition is fierce. You do not want to fall to that 1-1 pool.
Well, here we go, Wolf. Game number 3 for us. Let's see how it does go. The second to last of the night. Chemtech is going to be the first dragon. And we move on in. JDG versus BLG. I think I heard some Gios out there.
Yeah.
Some of them. There's some fans coming out and supporting these teams, trying to pump them up for this matchup.
Yeah, obviously, you talk about rivalries, the LPL and the LCK is the biggest regional rivalry in Asia and is often the matchup we see at the end of these big tournaments, or at least in the top 8s, right? And Korean fans here still coming out to watch this LPL versus LPL rivalry, but a lot of Chinese fans flying in as well to support their favorite teams. See the phase rush here picked up for this Vex pick here, Knight pulling it out. Was very popular on release, but some changes came through as we're going to see Bin do some early scouting, let's say. But after release, Vex kind of fell off and was kind of only really used as a counter pick to Ahri in the LCK, at least very briefly, very niche.
LeBlanc too.
LeBlanc sometimes as well because of the dash interaction with the Fear passive, but this is a really rare pick that Knight has pulled out here, and let's see what he's got with it.
Yeah, I mean, when you get into the stage You try to win as many games as you possibly can. Every single matchup matters, and sometimes you just got to pick up the pocket picks and try to give them a chance. You know, we see the Blitzcrank coming out here for On once again. We see the Vex for Knight. And, man, I was watching some VODs in preparation of this one as well. I heard Lyric talking about 21 times that Knight and Yagao have gone head-to-head, and that was in the semifinals of LPL Summer. So we're just getting more and more matchups between some of the players in between these two teams, and even more of them outside on these teams as well.
You know, Knight, I think, has definitely already cemented himself in terms of the top mid laners we have at this tournament. His legacy is already so great, and he, Ruler, and Kanavi, I think, really big leaders of this team, looking for that golden road. Yagao has definitely made massive appearances and does have that rivalry within Knight, but I think he hasn't quite been able to yet cement his legacy. Beating JDG tonight and going up 2-0 is the first step to making that happen in top A's. There's the handshake at level 2, just trying to get as much damage as they can here, and that's going to be a plate they grab. We're looking for it.
Yeah, trying to go for that very early play. We also saw On looking for a pretty early hook, trying to, you know, take out the minion, and the second it falls, you go for that one, as we do see some more pressure coming in. I mean, this is what Renata Glass offers you, especially against a Blitzcrank, like different from other melee supports that can always threaten kind of an all-in. If Blitzcrank hook is down, then Missing is just standing there. He doesn't have to micro at all. He's just hitting the turret. So you are going to have that pressure on the bottom side for JDG, and they're going to use that to pick up a Scuttle Crab here for Kanavi on the bottom side of the map for now.
Just a stats update for you guys. Knight has played Vex 11 times. He's 8-3, but he hasn't played it since spring 2023. It was only once. It was probably one of those niche games I was talking about earlier. So we'll see. Again, just wanted to give you guys that additional bit of information as Kanavi wants to come over here and help shadow this bottom side push. They grab a plate, and this is the power of Kalista, Renata, and the early game Ruler. He knows that range of the Blitzcrank grab so incredibly well.
Yeah. And again, the second that's down, you see that Elk is even looking for a back at this point in time. The pressure's going to be on regardless down on that bottom side. And, you know, we'll see if On can hit some critical hooks as the game comes along. It's not all about the lane. You know, you can fall a little bit behind, but then you look for a mid-game team fight, you get one hook onto Ruler or Knight or Missing, and maybe that's just, you know, the 5v4 set up for that fight. So we'll have to wait and see how much value this Blitzcrank is going to get over the course of this game.
Yeah, denying any CS, denying Elk any farm is going to be so critical because his items are going to be cheaper than what you have traditionally as an AD carry. On looking for a potential fight here, but they think better of it as Shun was in the vicinity, but they're not going to actually look for that hook commitment, and Ruler just goes straight back to pushing the lane.
All right, a little handshake here onto On. The pressure once again on as he's going to get that hook on, but there is just not enough damage follow-up here from the side of Elk, and immediately Ruler is going to punish that bottom lane and say, get the hell out of here. We own this one now.
And without Shun being here, he's tracked, of course, by a little bit of vision there in the jungle. They know they can actually push this advantage, and it's without bailout value even. They didn't have to force super hard. They just know they could take these aggressive trades and then go and turn this into a dragon. With the prio that Knight has mid as well, this is just as easy as it gets here. And this is what Kalista early game lanes are supposed to look like. And when you have the Renata, it's just so difficult to actually trade anything back.
Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned that, Wolf, because Kalista has been kind of getting bullied a lot in some of these lanes we've seen, and obviously they've been a little bit different. You mentioned the Renata coming in, the Enchanter support here on the side of JDG, but you can see just how much power it can have. We even saw the Renata earlier on with Ashe Renata. That one was played by T1 on the first day of Swiss. Definitely can have so much power in the lane. I think JDG is going to try to use that lane power to push on into the mid game.
And we got one early Drake that, you know, leads towards a potentially stronger soul here, but it will be Infernal second, so we'll see what JDG can turn this into if they can stack double Drakes here. But Kalista does get pushed in as we see Missing leaving the lane here. Ruler will catch this wave as we see a faster rotation up here. Elk and On potentially looking for something up here, but we're still a ways away from that Rift Herald, just trying to clear some vision. They finally get to breathe for a moment, have some prio bottom side. But you're talking about Ruler and Kalista. I mean, this was a pick that he had banned against him even when Kalista wasn't meta throughout his time in Gen G for the last 3 years before going to the LPL. He is one of LCK's greatest Kalista players and now follows in Hope's footsteps here for JDG in China.
Oh, they find it. The flash comes out from Ruler. He is going to be fine, but that's flash immediately burned. And that is the power of Blitzcrank just put on display. Even Ruler with how much pressure he's had on this Kalista, one hook, and all of a sudden he's flashless.
Yeah, flashless, loses a ton of health here. He's going to chug through that refillable to get back up. It's not going to be exactly what he wanted to have happen here. Now the wave kind of against him here, so some of that CS deficit that he had against Elk is now going to be shored up quite substantially. So you see a rotation down from Knight. He's got ult, of course, and can engage from a long way away, but will be spotted on this Tri-Brush ward, so I don't think we're going to see any further commitment. Nice respect there from Elk and On. They call out that Knight is missing. They have that ward there, and they're going to back off. So even though Ruler took a bunch of damage, he will regain prio.
Yeah, need just a little bit of help. The lane was pushing away from them, so they get out of lane, they get a good wave seat, a little bit of a reset, and, you know, funnily enough, we got these two LPL teams going head-to-head. Not as much action as we have seen out of some of the other games so far, but I highly expect that to change. You know, you don't get a little bit sleepy just yet. These two teams are going to be butting heads in no time. That first Drake, as you mentioned, just immense lane control allowed JDG to just get that without BLG even challenging them. But once the Rift Herald starts spawning, once we get more objectives, BLG is going to be fighting over them. And now Shun, level 6. This is the Vi Spike looking to get onto Ruler, no doubt, without his flash.
Both Yagao and Knight can roam globally, essentially.
Oh, that was so close. That was so close. And now Shun is just going to face check in a Knight. He was looking for more as a huge one comes out from Yagao, and they just combo on a Kanavi, who gets the bailout and will get the first blood here for the team. Elk goes in just to get one kill, but it's still big advantage JDG as this Vex is just popping off. Ruler going to pick up that kill, and On can't land the hook. JDG turned it out in a huge way in the bottom lane.
So you have the Talia wall, you have the Vex ult, both of these champions semi-global in their ability to roam down, but the start off here, not so great for BLG. Ultimately, when they decide to go in, they just don't have the numbers to back it up, and bailout means you kind of always have an extra man in the fight as long as you can get that reset, and even if you can't, it's going to buy a ton of time here. So, of course, the Sentinel is going to come over here and spot Yagao out. They get the flea onto Shun, and even though he gets the flip back here, there is a bailout available. Kanavi flashes, lives just long enough, gets the reset, and now On. He's a binary champion, either hit hook or miss hook, and then Yagao gets trolled by his own wall here after he flashes the wall. Not his own wall, of course, the wall there.
He got hand shook as well. It just pulled off of that one.
Ruler's super hyped. He's hand shook off the wall is blocking him from retreating, and this is now going to be a massive lead for the side of JDG.
Yeah, Ruler very happy with his support, and for a good reason. I think that BLG had a huge chance, right? It's flashless Ruler, it's Blitzcrank, it's level 6 Vi. Speaking of Blitzcrank, okay, we get the combo in, but this is Kanavi. Remember that he was able to, you know, he does go down, but he picks up 3 assists, and he's in a pretty good spot in this game so far, so with only Talia at this point in time, you're not going to be able to burst him down just yet.
Not to mention, of course, he has a great escape. He is Jarvan, so really difficult to actually keep him in position to do enough damage at this early state of the game, as you say. And JDG are going to turn that early lead into an even bigger one here now, taking Rift Herald. 20 seconds to go until this Dragon. They're trying to get a little bit of deep vision and look for a dive here, potentially, to turn this into, okay, you got Herald, we got Dragon. What Missing is able to skirt his way around here. Ruler playing very respectfully, and BLG not going to be able to secure a kill here before that Dragon spawns.
On just hanging out here. They know he's in this bush. I mean, there's only one spot. He just walked over a ward, and this Blitzcrank, it looks like he is down for the count. That's another kill given over to Ruler. As now he's just sitting at 2-0-2. Knight's 2-0-1. They've got bounties on both of them. JDG are just stomping this early game.
Yeah, and it was just really transparent what BLG were trying to do. You know, look for a dive there, and then they punish the Blitzcrank, looking to stop his back, but get the full handshake there, and that's a pick.
Well, 369 going in, looking to skirmish with Ben here on this Aatrox. Is going to be held back. The Infernal Chains, and Ben will just run away or fly away from that one as another Drake. So this is 2 Drakes early.
And it's Hextech Soul Valdez!
Soul. 2 Drakes early, Rift Heralds, and both their carries are fed. JDG are off to the races.
It doesn't get much worse than this, but I did see the Wombo combo to come back from 9,000 gold deficit in our previous game. So, you know, nothing is impossible, but Fed Callista this early on is problematic. And again, there's a ward here. So On is spotted, and Elk is just like, all right, we're not going to go for the dive, just go for the back. And then On doesn't realize that in this bush he is absolutely exactly where JDG know where he is. They could turn it not only into a deny on the dive, but a kill. That turns into Dragon. They've got Herald. And it's 2,000 gold the lead. History looks like it might repeat itself in this series if BLG can't change. But remember, this is a composition that excels in early game, and Ruler has absolutely put the pressure on.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that if you give them a win condition, they're going to say, okay, we know exactly what our win condition is, and we're going to play to that perfectly. Now, On is looking for this hook, is going to miss onto Ruler. So that's not going to come through. Keep in mind, Kanavi talked about the Rift Herald. He's down here looking to potentially get this early first turret blood for the team, as already that pressure from the JDG bottom lane has done a number to that turret.
Looks like 369 going to pick up some additional Wolf gold here. As just gonna, I'll allow it. You can have it.
Yeah.
As we're going to see the Rift Herald dropped here, as JDG dropped that in mid to pull Yagao's attention and start to look for a potential dive setup here, but it's not exactly the value I think JDG was looking for. Now missing, potentially in danger.
Close again, very close. You look at some of these hooks, and I don't think that one would have necessarily led to a kill, but some of the ones in the lane, if they were just a little bit closer, they could have made all the difference, and that's the feast or famine of Blitzcrank, right? It's not that consistency. You get a hook, it can change the game. Again, waiting for that game-changing moment outside of that one hook that did get the flash out of Ruler.
Yeah, and this is, you know, the Herald crashes through. Gold lead has maintained about the same here for JDG, still hovering around 2,000. The real question becomes, when can BLG actually start to contest for objectives? Because the lead is massive, the Callista is big. You know, you already have Vex with that Ludens online as well. And in 2.5 minutes time, you're going to have to hope that Shun can find a pick. He needs to hold on to his flash. He's got his Divine Sunderer here. There's still hope for BLG, but it is going to be based off a great Blitzcrank hook or a Talia wall from Yagao that cuts the team in half, and they can maybe blow up one of those frontliners. Because if you don't win this next fight, it's Hextech sole point, and JDG have all the options in the world when we get to start talking about Baron. They've got great Baron damage with Callista, so this is a really pivotal moment. Not easy for BLG to win this, but they got to fish for something in 2 minutes' time.
Yeah, they definitely have the onus on them. Ben's doing his job, I suppose, as that's going to be the hook on a Missing. And Missing's like, yeah, cool story, bro. I'm just going to run right at you. Gets ignited and doesn't seem to give a damn. And now he is just going to get Fates called over the wall, as the Talia wall was beginning to threaten an actual chance to take him out. So they will trade that very long cooldown on the Callista ultimate just to get him to safety and keep up the pressure.
Yeah, I think it's obviously a significant cooldown, but not the most important is hook.
Okay, this one on to Knight, who is quite low. He's got the stopwatch as Kanavi's going in, gets them both as he goes back into the flag and drag. That is a bit of a disaster. 369, he's here as well. As down will go Knight. Finally, that was the one pick they were looking for. But what about the other guys? Everybody's going down here on the side of BLG, and only Ben is left here. It's just going to be a straight up ace. Is it though? Oh man, this is going to be 369 going down, but that's just a consolation prize. A triple kill for 5-0 Callista for Ruler.
Yeah, I think we call that a 2 for 5 in the end. And, you know, BLG here, they found the pick they were looking for. What I was describing, they got the Fates call, right? Then they look to follow up and look for another pick here, potentially. But look at where everybody else is when this happens. So Yagao here coming down. Knight has stopwatch, and then the engage from Kanavi is there. You have to respect the flag and drag, the Cataclysm. And where's your damage? It's completely obliterated. Bin isn't here. And now Shun is completely cut off. There's just no way to win this subsequent fight. They thought they were going to get a pick and get out. They certainly were not. Great stopwatch there to buy enough time for the rotation to come over. And yes, Bin is Aatrox. He is going to buy a ton of time here, but ultimately he will go down. It's a triple kill for Ruler, who's 5-0-3, getting close to his Rage Blade now. They take the turret, and that 2,000 gold lead is now a 4,000 gold lead.
Yeah, just the dominoes falling one by one. That Kanavi flag and drag was pretty insane. Elk trying to get to safety, but Kanavi just says, no, thank you. I will take that one out. And now BLG trying to challenge here on this Drake, this Hex Tech Soul that we talked about. The wall is going to come in as it is going to delay a little bit of time, but JDG right here just chomping at the bit. They want to get over this wall and get this smite, and it is going to go the way of Kanavi, and that is 3 Drakes now in favor of JDG, and they're looking for a bit more. They want to get the flash out of Yagao, and that they do. Bin on the right side wants to get something done, but the rest of the team is just hand shook and just zoned away as Kanavi gets soloed with the core trigger value. He's using Knight is in the thick of things. He's got this chance to get back up, and he is, and Ruler is just totally unchecked the entire time, making 2 more kills for this AD carry.
Oh man, Ruler is just popping off. He helped carry the Korean national team through Asia Games. He helped carry this team through LPL. This guy may very well be the greatest AD carry we've seen this year, and he just continues to be consistent. He is doing this against LPL's 2nd seed here. This is not just him dunking on a weaker team. He got the early advantages. He has been given a ton of resources here. And Kanavi just holds his ground here. Hits the smite, and then what do? Who can you pick? They have bailout. No matter who gets low, you have to kind of walk away, stagger this chance, look for the cross angle as Bin does here onto missing, but he backs away. And then when we see this Kanavi re-engage here, he gets taken out, but you know you have Knight with bailout here, and there's just way too much damage to Ruler. Ruler untouched, Ruler at 80 health. He is just ripping through every single health bar, and this game starts to feel pretty doomed for BLG.
Yeah, the wallets are massive, and missing almost goes down there, but the fact that he doesn't, and then he gets bailout and a hostile takeover just to turn the fight and keep Ruler safe and up, and Knight to get the bailout and come back in the fight and just give more space to Ruler is just so key. Bin was so close to just assassinating him there on the right side. Could have been a very different fight, but it wasn't meant to be.
You mentioned how rare objective bounties are in our previous game in professional play at this level, but this is the type of domination we are seeing. At least BLG will pick up some of that bounty gold here off of this turret, but in the time it's going to take them to reset, it's going to be a trade of turrets here. The inner, so valuable here for JDG with the lead they have. A hook potential for On, but he's not even going to pull the trigger, knowing that that's just not the champion you want to pick right now. 2 items, 7 kills.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is 18.5 minutes in, right? Like, they are just taking elders, or not elders, not yet. We'll have to wait and see how long this game goes. On is looking for the hook, not going to hit that one. They're taking inners over and over. They're looking for more. They got the 2nd Rift Herald, and they want to get even more value. This is, again, very early on. They're on the precipice of taking down a Hex Tech Soul here in 2 minutes, but JDG just very methodical going from turret to turret, and BLG is not really able to match the tempo.
Yeah, I mean, even 369 able to sit freely in a side lane on the bottom side. He had teleport, so if there was a fight to break out, he could be there in an instant. There's no one to deny him, as they need Bin home to try to defend these pushes, or perhaps even more damage goes up. This is the kind of gold graph you want to see as a League of Legends coach, because you see Kalista gets some incremental advantages, and we keep pushing it every 5 minutes. You see a huge jump on those objective fights, those dragons that BLG wanted to deny so desperately. Baron is spawning here, but the only team that has damage to do it is JDG. Now you have to juggle that, the trade of Baron, which could very likely end this game, and Hex Tech Soul, which spawns in a minute 30. You don't have the damage to rush it, you don't have vision, and your options now as BLG are just so incredibly limited.
Yeah, take a look at the Elixir as well, and okay, we're not even going to have time for that. Yagao is just isolated. He might just go down. Kanavi, one more hit, but the hook onto Knight was actually super key. They're going to take him out as well. That's a 1-for-1 trade. Ruler's over the wall. He has to go in a stopwatch. He does not look very safe right there, and the flash over from Bin as the bailout will not be enough. It's 1,000 gold into the hands of Bin as Kanavi is a bit of a juggernaut. He's looking for more. He is going to get one. As Willie gets more. How is this guy not dead? Where is he going? And he's looking for even more. 369 finally comes in as Big Brother 369 is going to help him out, and Kanavi somehow does not die.
Kanavi is just so insane. He has a gourd ring. He holds it to the last possible second. He knows that he can live through this, and he absolutely does. Look at his health now. He's almost back to full. And BLG, it's always 1 step forward, 3 steps back with these picks. You know, you got Ruler, you got the shutdown. Bin picks up 1,000 gold. But in the subsequent fight, Kanavi gets into the back line, takes out that Kaisa. It all starts off here with Kanavi looking for this pick onto Yagao. It's a fantastic hook, and if this is an even game state, this feels fantastic. Look at the Renata ultimate here as well to stop the follow-up. and Ruler will ultimately go down here, but his stopwatch buys time. Meanwhile,
well, we got more fighting. It's LPL versus LPL. Another hook is going to come in, but that's a croc. I'm not sure you want that one. He's got pretty big health bar, but Ingo's Knight, he's looking for more. As On is getting pretty low on the right side here. Kanavi looking for this pick, and finally the space is emptied here for Ruler to just hop forward. He's got a lot of money after that shutdown, but it is not quite enough. Yagao and Elk on the run as Ruler will shut it down.
And this is JDG absolutely dominating. Now both objectives are up. Knight.
Okay. Nice little try from Elk, but he's got his Zonias. Buddy, I'm not sure you're going to be able to take him out, and Elk just runs away. Nice little pick, but not enough.
You could call it a consolation prize, I suppose. You got the Zonia's cooldown. That's all you're going to get here. And JDG, they have so much damage to rush this Baron down. They absolutely will. I'm going to go back to this moment here. We did come into this a little bit late. Shun just getting caught by Cataclysm way too far forward. Is tracked by that ward in the mid lane. And Kanavi going to take him out here. And then, yeah, you get the flip back onto 369. But these players are just too far behind. The damage isn't there. And Kanavi could just carry this game on his own. And Ruler's just like, all right, if you're putting the attention on Kanavi, I'm just going to dash forward and eliminate the person who just shut me down for 1,000. I'll take some of that gold back. And then they go straight to Baron. Of course, reminding everyone that now, as we go back to life, that Hextech Soul is also up. It doesn't get worse than this. 10,000 gold up. Hextech Soul, Baron. Good luck, Billy Gaming.
Yeah, good luck. Red Bull Baron power play, I think, is going to balloon out of control in this one. Let's see what JDG have in their pocket. But yeah, now a Frozen Heart. By the way, Spear Shojin was finished for the last two fights for Kanavi as well. That's why he's just flagging, dragging all over the place. You can't lock him down. And now, you're absolutely not. He's got a Frozen Heart here against a Kaisa. Look at this. Are they doing damage to him? Are they?
I don't know.
You tell me, because I don't think they are. Shun is trying his best to stop Elk from going down. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is just pushing on the bottom side of the map.
Kanavi is 2 levels up. 2 levels up on Elk. It's a lethality Kaisa versus Frozen Heart. You aren't hurting this guy. It's not gonna happen. And now Ruler is just gonna rip this inhibitor down out of the base, and they can look for more. We're 23.5 minutes in, but this lead is just so huge.
Oh, On. He's looking for the hook. It's understandable. That's his one function. What do? I hook the enemy team, but it's just not enough at this point in time. JDG looking to take down 2 inhibitors, and it doesn't look like BLG have what it takes to stop them, and they might just look for more. I mean, we're only 24 minutes in, but Hextech Soul, Baron coming on down, and JDG want to end this one now.
Got so many minions, 2 cannons here just pushing through. They can siege and wait. Talia rocks down here. Once those fade, the engage opportunities are real here for JDG. BLG, it feels like just waiting for the inevitable. Here comes Kanavi.
He's going on in, and again, I don't think anyone can really touch him except, I guess, Yagao at this point in time. But Yagao, he's just dominated on the top side, and yes, Missing is going to go down, but JDG, they're just playing with their food. They don't even need to fight BLG at this point. Knight goes in, he's having a ball in this one, and JDG are going to take down the best one. Best of one against BLG. I guess it wasn't to be unexpected, Wolf.
One more brick in the golden road, one more step forward. 2-0 for JDG, one of the massive favorites to win Worlds 2023, to be the only team who wins both of the splits in their region, MSI and Worlds. And one of the biggest blocks in the way, one of the biggest roadblocks for them is old rivals in BLG, but they've beaten them before, and that history is not going to change tonight. They will do it again. Yeah. And it has just been time after time after time. JDG has taken BLG out, and this game was not even close.
Not very close. I think the hype around JDG is 100%.